When we say that let us awake, let us wake up to spiritual fulfillment, there is an implication that we are asleep. Then, if we are asleep, how is it possible that we can do things if we have not yet awakened to who we are? What helps us to move, to work, to do things? Because when we say that we operate at the physical and psychological plus the spiritual level, and yet now we are so much masters of the physical and the psychological, but we neglect or we are asleep to our awareness that we are spiritual beings. Who are we right now? What are we doing? Where are we coming from and where are we going? Let us begin with the question, who are we? In reality, in the true sense of it, we are right now, we are fragments. We are like a fallen leaf. You can call us a piece of bread that has been disconnected from the whole. Therefore, we are independent segments, particles of God moving around the globe. Therefore, we are our own gods, and the source of us, the source of that God is called the ego. The ego is a mental ability that gives us the ego is a mental entity that gives us definitions. It tells us who we are. It tells us what we want. It tells us where to go. It tells us that we can live independently. The ego is that engine, is that energy within us that can let us keep moving even when we are fragments, even when we are drops from the ocean, even when we are leaves that have been dropped off the tree. That the ego is the energy that can help that can help a drop to move, to walk, or to run, or flow alone. The ego is the energy that helps the leaf to move and operate independently. The ego is the ability of this loaf of bread to take itself, to define itself as bread. I mean, the leaf can decide to define itself as a leaf. But in real sense, a leaf is not a leaf. A leaf is a tree. But it cannot define itself as a tree when it is disconnected from the tree. It can only define itself as a tree when the tree is the one speaking that I am the tree. But when the leaf is plucked off or plucks itself off from the tree, it is now going to redefine its essence, is going to define its purpose, is going to define its boundaries, that this is where I belong. Do not disturb me. And yet, it is actually a fragment of a tree. And if the leaf reaches that level, that means that it has now gained a sense of God. It has its sense of God is now a fragment. It means that the ego in that leaf is telling it that you are beginning, you are the beginning and the end. There is nothing more to be added unto you and nothing to be taken away from you. You are enough. You are independent. You can live on your own. You don't need support. You can actually be happy. You are enough. That is called the ego. We too, humans, we are fragments. We are fallen leaves. We are leaves plucked off from God. We have now reached a level that our egoic sense is too much developed and mature, that we have defined who we are. We call ourselves humans, yet we are not. We are supposed to actually be silent, and God calls himself God when we are part and partial of him as a portion or as a whole. Therefore, that sense that defines who we are is called the ego, but it is wrong. The ultimate reality is that we in God are God, and without that, it means that Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 is no longer applicable to humanity or to any human being who is not restored back into God. He who has not yet become utterly, completely, or completely empty to the level of housing divine consciousness, housing God consciousness, housing the Great Spirit, so that he may be his life. Only when that is achieved can we say that we are reflections of God. We are the bridge between the macro and the microcosm. We are the bridge between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. Only when that is achieved can we say that we and God are one. Only then can Psalms 82 verse 6 be applicable to us, that you are all God's sons of the Most High. Only then can John 10:34 be applicable, that God called you gods, all of you. Only then can it be applicable. Can Revelation 3:21 be applicable, that when you are victorious, I will let you sit with me on my Father's throne, as when I was victorious and sat with him on his throne, the throne over the universe. Only then can we play our real purpose as co-workers with God, as partners with God, as friends with God.